come in and they're afraid. I'm sitting there like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reggie Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother, Wild Man Teddy T, aka Baron Theo Mound-builder.
Yes, we are here. We are here.
Yeah, man. Rather be here than in Texas.
Woo. Man.
Yeah, man. Bruh, so they say it is not the time. They say it's not the time to, point fingers. It's not the time to, while they're still in a search and rescue mode. But we ain't in Texas. So we ain't searching and we ain't rescuing. So we can talk about it.
I don't see how this is a place where just blatant kids and old people. Kids and old people.
I mean, so there's a couple things at play. The National Weather Service. When you talk about Doge and the Doge cuts. Years ago, Texas was having all the power outages because they not on the grid. Like they on, they on their own thing, and I don't think it has anything to do with sovereignty. I think it has everything to do with money. Just like what they're saying for the early warning systems, like the people in Tornado Alley and all those places, Oklahoma and the Midwest, they have those sirens that go out for tornadoes, and then you go jump in the where you gotta go because it's a part of life. When that tornado come, get out the way. So, climate change is real. I am a Republican who's telling you straight up, climate change is real.
It's natural. It's in your face.
I mean, but some folks on some other stuff. Some folks is like, well, if you look at an atlas and it's not the warmest it's ever been, it's not the coldest it's ever been, and all, folks be saying that it just comes in shifts, man. But
I mean, to me, it's naturally the things that you can see from this time period of us living. I have 54 years. The weather as hot as it is right now. Like as hot as it is right now. Like I walked to the store at this time.
Yeah, you got to shower again already.
You know what I'm saying? It's hot. You know what I mean?
That's hot, bro. I was on the beach last week. I was on the beach, bro, and I was wearing slides. And when we got, to the little chair where we take off, our shoes and then walk on the sand, bruh, my daughter started jumping up and down. I'm like, what's going on? I get out my slides and I touched it. I'm like, whoa, bro, it was hot. The sand was hot, bro. I don't remember the sand being hot. The sand is hot, man. Like as close as it is to the water, the sand is hot. That's that's crazy, man. That's crazy. So, they're saying that, well, this was a once in 100-year thing, but we're getting once in 100-year things all the time. Like we're getting hurricanes happening on the west coast of Florida, which they ain't supposed to happen like that.
How about there was a hurricane Friday night, 4th of July, that started right outside of Jacksonville and went through the Carolinas, going through Virginia.
That's what hit Carolina. That's where the flooding is from, hurricane.
But who knew? I was DJing. I looked them up and it said a hurricane. And I looked, I said, damn, but it was outside of Jacksonville. It formed. They formed right outside of Jacksonville and went straight into South Carolina.
Yeah. So I was watching a movie. I don't even know the name of the movie, bro. It might have been 1992. It may have been 1992 is the name of the movie because that's what's going on. But Danny Glover plays the president. And in this movie, basically, it's I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched bits and pieces of it, but it's some type of cataclysmic situation where, keep the public calm. And so a few people know like what's going to happen, like the president and the closest advisors and whatnot. And they got a few people that they can tell like what's going to happen. And there's a brother who's on there, not one of those, wannabe Denzel types. I don't know his name, but he's a brother that get a role, kind of look like Joe Morton, but a younger version. I don't know his name, but he plays like a government official, scientist type dude. And his dad is like a singer or a jazz musician and whatnot. And so he on the phone like telling his dad, get out of there or do whatever. And his dad is like, nah, I gotta stay here and watch his partner. Like it's like old Joe, Joe was, coming in, they got a gig. And so when everything hits the fan, the guy who's playing the bad guy, the government official, like the Stephen Miller, the, whoever you say, the Machiavelli type guy, is basically saying, you leak classified information you told, and the guy's like, you spying on me? He was like, no one is safe. You like, they was spying on him. So they already knew like that he told his dad. And so Danny Glover, who was playing the president, like he doesn't go. Like he ends up just saying, I'm gonna tell the people. Like I'm gonna tell the people because in times like this, maybe they can, be together and comfort each other and because they was like keeping everybody in the dark. It's keeping them in the dark. So I'm saying that to say that this particular administration is like the perfect administration where they would just keep everybody in the dark. Meaning like if the scientists see like a big asteroid or a sinking star or whatever that's going to explode, that's going to die, or our sun is ready to kick off or whatever, they just like, they keep it moving. Is that 1999-ish?
Or nobody's at that post.
Or nobody's there. Nobody even there to deal with it, to acknowledge with it. Man, bro. I'm just saying. So they're saying that the National Weather Service was, they was doing their job and saying it, but nobody was there receiving it.
One person. That's what
right. The receiver wasn't there, and then the other person who was supposed to be getting the information took the early retirement money.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
They took the early retirement money, and they didn't get replaced.
I was like, wow. It's right there. Like
Hollywood. You know what Hollywood's going to do, bro? They're going to have, like, coming into the empty room, just saying, it's going to be catastrophic. Nobody's there, bro.
And the guy, he's watching it at home from his house, the retiree.
I told him. He's not there. he's not there.
Try to tell him.
Well, remember they started telling us a while ago with the hurricanes. It was like, hey, the hurricanes out of all places, it's just like, folks ain't gonna be able to tell you the way it was, and folks are like, oh man, it will be all right. Not all the time, bro. This is crazy, man.
On the other side of Mexico, on the other side of South America, this side of South America, this hurricane popping up everywhere.
Bro, this is crazy, man. This White House, man, this is really like the opposite of the Justice League. The Legion of Doom. It's the Legion of Doom.
You don't watch Star Wars.
I have. I'm familiar with Star Wars, but I can't get into the specs. Oh no, you're in the weeds for me right now. I can't.
He's
the Emperor.
Emperor.
Okay.
When he was in the Senate, he was
right. The one where where Samuel Jackson, when he was in there and he had the Jedi and he had to come in or whatever.
That's what I see Trump as. Because, like, did you see him sitting across from Netanyahu? You got to get the we honored. We're going to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize. You deserve it. It was like so scripted,
Man.
so like, you know what I mean?
Bro, it's crazy that all you gotta do is be nice to him and just come in there and just
Hey, buddy.
right. And you can't come in like, I know my guy, the president of South Africa, was so frustrated. He said, "I'm so sorry, I don't have a plane to give to you." And your boy Trump said, "Hey, that would have been." Hey, next time.
Think about it.
Hey, guess who's on the list? Guess who's on the tariff list? South Africa.
Oh, boy.
Like, he don't even play with it.
But he's killing me with these tariffs. All right, now listen. I know I was going to start it yesterday, but
I'm going to give y'all another 30 days.
30.
I'm going to give
another start on the 9th again.
I'm gonna give another 30 days. Again, another 30 days. And TikTok, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time, but y'all hurry up and get her done. Y'all hurry up and get it done.
This is the best.
Hey, I mean,
it's better this time than last time, though, I think.
I agree, because certain things are happening in a way. I think he understands more the gravity of what he's saying. Like, this is the most I've actually seen him think about some stuff. Because before, he's just done whatever, however, saying whatever. And, bruh, if January 6th didn't let him know, I think January 6th let him know. I think January 6th let him know, when you got all these people in his own party saying, man, go to the airways, tell your people to sit back. Chill out. You know what I mean? Like, until you know what I mean? Because, bro, that's hard for another adult. That's very hard for another adult to, come in there straight up and go to another grown person and be like, "Hey, man, can you just tell them to chill? Can you just tell them to chill?" I mean, I'm talking about folks who, got high status in their own regard, that's saying, "Hey, man, hey, bro, they only gonna listen to you. They only gonna listen to you." His own vice president, bro, they like hang him. And Trump, what he said, "Hey, hey, hey."
You see the little commercial or something where they got the black lady, and she's like, "I don't see how they're talking about Trump's racist, because I came to him, I told him my story, he let me out, I gave him 1,500.
Oh, the lady who was doing the lady that was serving like life for she was like the drug queen pin. She's a drug dealer, but now he trying to make it a death penalty for drug dealers. So if you cool with him, then you might be cool with him. So, bruh, alligator Alcatraz, I'm with it. I'm with it. Bruh, and not only that, like, look right here. That's what I'm about to show you. This one of the news guys right here. This one of the news guys who gotta be there. And look at him, bruh. He's so mad. Can we play what he got to say, man? Buddy, like, yo, I'm here, and I'm only out here just to record, just to broadcast, because this thing right here it's crazy, man.
I would say it's probably, 86, 87 degrees out here. So you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a hoodie and a rain jacket. And that's because you can barely walk outside here because of the mosquitoes. We're outside of what they call alligator Alcatraz. And let me tell you, you cannot get any worse than this. This is what we see surrounding this area. And naturally, when you get a lot of rain and puddles of water, and that, of course, breeds lots of mosquitoes.
Man, they got pythons like the size of
days that we've
pipes
been here,
and
it's gotten so bad that we can, as members of the press, we can barely go outside of our vehicles. It's atrocious. So to think about what the folks who are going to be detained at this facility are going to go through is unbelievable.
Now, they were saying that the folks that are supposed to be detained at Alligator Alcatraz was supposed to be like the harshest of the harsh criminals. But then I read that it's going to be pregnant women, and it's going to be women, and it's going to be like some infants. So they must, and people with like health conditions. So they going to be there too?
It makes sense. I mean, those mosquitoes, That's what they're there for. And if they got women and children there, they're gonna be carrying where they go. They're gonna spread.
Man,
That's
bro.
my thing. Like man, the other day I got bit up so bad, I got scabs.
Bro, cruel and unusual punishment, man. See, and the thing is, the Sixth Amendment does not apply.
Hmm.
Like, cruel and unusual punishment does not apply to non-citizens. So
They can get,
it's whatever, you know. And I think
there's no human rights.
right, and I guess right. I'm not saying there's no human rights because you still have the Geneva Convention and the way you're supposed to treat, you know, criminals or whatever, man. But there gotta be some rights, like when they come in, like because I've never seen in the criminal system itself that there's any distinction from a citizen and a non-citizen. However, in this immigration context, appears that that is to, you know, be the case. And I first started seeing like the conundrum around the Patriot Act, and when they were taking like folks from enemy combatants from like Afghanistan and bringing them to Cuba, to Guantanamo Bay, and bringing them from the battlefield and bringing them over here. And then the folks were petitioning our government for certain rights. And folks was like, man, you don't have no rights. You're outside of our Constitution. So, I mean, folks don't know how this thing is and where it's going. But I think we got the right person for the job right now. Because as Ross says, what does he say? You gotta destroy it before you build it. Like, you gotta show the worst of folks, and people got to get the worst before they understand. Like, man, bro, I don't. It doesn't have to be this way, and I remember when it wasn't this way. And at the same time, we can't go back to how it was because the way it was, and this is why I think, you know, Trump being in there right now is good for everyone to see. It was unsustainable the way things were before. Like you just said, it's too big to fail. That's what the U.S. government was. It was too big to fail. Like we see, we got all these problems. We have all these inefficiencies. You know, we got all this stuff going on, but what's the alternative? And so we be like, what's the alternative? Just keep it the same. But when you have folks that's like, yo, let's burn it down. You got to get them the keys. Mm-hmm. So when you have a natural disaster, you done, okay, this is why you done burn it down. The people who's supposed to be doing the job, guess what? They ain't there. Ain't nobody going to do it for free. They ain't nobody going to do it for free. You know, you want these roads built. You want all this stuff. Okay. Where they at? Y'all send it. Y'all send them back.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Oh, you like, hey man, they're a little light on the watermelon season this year.
But I mean, do you think, okay, let's get rid of all the immigrants and now let's open up the prison to do these works again. Now allow them to work off time because the prisons are so fat. Now allow them to take these.
Well, that's what your man is openly talking about. That's what your man is openly talking about. Where people who are historians are saying like, the new slavery, like the new.
But think about that's what it said. Everybody is a free person, but a criminal.
But now you're going to make more people criminals, and so that you can, you know what I mean? Because you got to feed the beast. Like when you start prophetizing prisons, that's when you like people that's making money off of folks that's incarcerated. Are they interested in, you know, Head Start, you know, programs that are documented that will, you know, keep people out of jail and prison or whatever? Are we? No, we don't want none of that. We don't want none of that.
I was at this drug meeting or whatever, and the guy asked the question. He said, "Are there less beds in the drug now than before?" He said, "Well, if it was, we wouldn't be here." I say, there you have it.
Bruh.
Somebody's got to play. Somebody's got to lose.
And you know, and we're looking at it in the media. We're seeing it in the media as well. You know, back in the day, you got your Walter Cronkite, and you had your Peter Jennings, folks where it's like they came and just said what it was. When it was something that was sad, everybody would agree, like, man, that's messed up. Nowadays, bruh, you can go to CNN, and on CNN, it should be like, man, the sky is falling.
Yeah.
You go to MSNBC, they like, you know, free Palestine. And you go to Fox, what a great parade, the military parade, and so patriotic, and we love our troops and we love our stuff, and you know, we getting all these illegals out of here and all this other stuff, and folks just want the news. Folks just really want to know what's going on, and the people that's really being affected is our kids, man. My kids right now are old enough to where, and we're having like real conversations, bro. So I'm having to like,
You got to give them alternatives to understand this is
bro, it ain't never been. It used to be, I guess it's never really been black and white, but it was more black and white. We can say good, bad, this, and that, and now you got to explain. It's more complex, it's more layered, you know. And so,
I mean, I think for me, what I've seen is people really started to look at all the elements of what is the Constitution. And the number one element, I think, Rupert Murdoch, when he started getting involved in seeing CNN involved, is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means,
Rupert Murdoch is from Australia.
I'm just saying,
What he know?
when he made Fox,
Roger Ailes, man.
Yeah,
Roger Ailes is the architect.
Did it, but
He
either way,
the architect.
freedom of speech is what these guys started taking advantage of.
Well, they took advantage. They took advantage of the polarization around freedom of speech, where you start taking the people who are purportedly victims,
Right.
the victimization of majority, you know, white male privilege is now victimized, where it's like you take one incident and then you make it this is all it is. I was just at Fort Campbell for July the 4th for Independence Day. And I'm like, man, I've been to so many military bases, and then I was just asking for more of an explanation. I'm like, yo, is it just me, or these dudes right here don't seem no kind of friendly? They don't seem no kind of friendly. So it was two things. One is in this new, since, you know, buddies come back in office or whatever, the folks who gung-ho then came back in because they can get whatever they, you know, like, this is what we was looking for and this is what it is. I got somebody I want to fight for. You know, there was some Make America Great Again hats in the, you know, in the audience, where it's just like, okay. But then I didn't feel so bad, and this is where I ask our resident soldier, I didn't feel so bad, and that's because they said, well, you know, these your soldiers here. These not your logistics people. Like, these are the infantry. These are guys that's about that life for real. Like, that's what they training for. So they walk around like on that, because we've been on a lot of bases, and the folks is like, you know, basically like, yeah, man, I'm here to get this, you know, the GI Bill. You know, I'm gonna get my bread to go up to college, to get my housing, get this, get that, these benefits, whatever. But nah, these folks is over there, bro. They sharpening, like they around there sharpening their bayonets and they knives, and they, you know what I mean? They ready to, they were just ready.
That's a real thing.
They on go.
That's a real thing. I mean, they my military members are like, they eat that, I wouldn't call it propaganda, but they eat that America first up. Like, they be ready.
They on go,
They
bro.
love their country, man.
Right, they do.
They love their country,
Bruh.
for real.
And I was joking, right? I was joking on the plane when we get there. I was about Lee Greenwood, right? Because I'm like, man, Lee Greenwood got him a nice one. He kind of like Lenny Williams with, you know, you ain't been in love like I've been in love before. He gonna eat till he die. The guy Lee Greenwood, well, proud to be an American. I was just like, yo, this dude, you go anywhere with any kind of patriotic events, man, they got to pay that ticket to get your man up in there or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what his ticket is, but to come and sing that one song, I know he getting at least 30, if not more. I wouldn't be surprised if he was getting more, but he getting at least 30 to just sing that song alone. And I was saying that on the way up there, bro. We sitting in the trailer. From the hand I'm down to the head of Tennessee. I was like, they was like, Matt, no. They out there singing. If I had to start all over, just want you and my wife. I'm like, hey,
I'm brown.
I wish I could be like that, bro. This was the most conflicted. This is the most conflicted Fourth I have had in my life. Like in my life, bro. Like it was just, because for one, and I was talking to somebody about it. I was like, okay, this is the 249th anniversary of, the Declaration of Independence. 249 years. So as an institution, it must be celebrated as an institution, right? Because we live in the country. We love the country. You wouldn't want to live anywhere else, or you had a right to go live somewhere else if you so desire. So you here, love it or leave it, so to speak. So as an institution, it's like, all right, cool. And so you go 1776, when they declare, when we declare our independence from England, then, black men are free. Now there are some free, but as a collective, we in bondage, Then you go, okay, 1860, the Civil War, war between the states, still the most deadly conflict for Americans in all the wars. Still, the Civil War is that, right? And so it's like, boom, 4th of July, where were we? As a collective.
Enslaved.
Right? Enslaved. So when you get to, 1968, 1968, where, integration, all these things, supposedly been overcome, and now we're here. And I mean, as a kid, for years, for generations, man, barbecue, fireworks, that's what it is. But this year in particular, man, and being on the base, and I was there, and I was like, the way I did it, it's like, I get it. We're here, and we're getting paid to be here and to be super patriotic. And shout out to bruh, because bruh had his whole, red, white, and blue Uncle Sam outfit on, bruh. And I was, I'm supporting him 1,000%. I'm supporting him 1,000%, bruh, because he is enabling all us to eat. He's enabling all us to eat. And so I'm there, and I'm just like, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because here I, on the flight there, I'm sitting there, man, I'm holding school, I'm going through, whatever history. Everybody got questions and all these things and this stuff right here. And then we go there and we coming to get this bread. And the people were genuinely, as Steph said, man, genuinely just love the country. They love the country, and they're in there and they're willing to fight and die for the country.
Think about it. I really want people to really realize where Europeans were at when they was in Europe. They were subjects. Which is worse than slaves. Anything can happen to them. They had no criminality, no laws at all. And being able to come here now to be free, to have status of humans, they don't want to go back to nothing like that. We come from kings, queens, and gods. They don't come from that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I look at. Their element of survival and why they have to survive and why they have to keep the illusion to keep their power. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm following you as far as keeping the illusion and the power and things of that nature. Like looking at it from that perspective and in that context, to say that, hey, this is the Magic Kingdom. This is Disney World that is set up. And when you're in here and your eyes get open, it's like, as your eyes get open, how do you maneuver it? Because it is dangerous enough where if you come in and you too woke, you could literally die. The administration right now is talking about, they're going so far right now is to look into removing naturalized U.S. citizens, bro. Like, you done gone beyond, you've gone beyond what you told the people you're going to do, right? Can we give them a round of applause for closing the border? Like, hey, no, what I'm saying as far as like giving them credit, right? Giving them credit, like, hey, he closed the border. I ain't no need to talk about, hey, we need a comprehensive integrate, blah, blah, blah. We closed the border, which they were saying was a non-starter for comprehensive, because if we don't have borders, we don't have a country. So we can't even get into all this other stuff y'all talking about. Well, now border crossings is at the lowest in recorded history. And you got to be fleeing something to still be showing up at the southern border right now, knowing all the stuff that's going on over here, where they sending you to third countries that you ain't never even lived at. They sending you to Uganda. They sending you to Uganda. Bro, somebody came up in there and told me, bro, they gonna send you to Uganda? Bruh, you going to Uganda? How you getting back?
I mean, that's like they got this movie. It's called Prison, and that's what how they take these people and they swap them to different prisons. They want to break certain people out. Like, to me, all these movies, Hogan's Heroes, all these things that we've ever seen are being played out in these elements because they're moving people around. Just like slavery, they move people around that created a different environment everywhere. Even when we could see the difference when people moved from New Orleans to Texas and Atlanta. We saw even there was a difference in that aspect.
I mean, yeah, it was a crime wave.
Right. That's what it's going to be everywhere.
There's a crime wave. You look at the Mariel boat lift.
Yes.
You know, we saw crime wave. Scarface, Scarface, which is a great time to shout out to Ted Lucas and Rick Ross for, the documentary on, it's like, hey, Tony is doing all this or whatever, but once they bring it in, Tony wasn't on the corner. Tony wasn't on the corner selling it nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They was giving it to them boys. They was giving it to Big Ike. They was getting it to Bo Diddley. And they was getting it to, those, that ilk, that helped build that skyline. So shout out to them, man. And, here's an interesting perspective. Here's an interesting perspective on Diddy's release now, especially when you look at, and I wanted to bring this for you specifically, Teddy, because you mentioned the Abercrombie and Fitch guys, and this is being a distraction. Like, you constantly talk about the distractions that take place. Why is this happening? When people are on this right here, okay, look over here, look over here, look over here, and we do it every time, right? So Diddy was a great distraction from all this stuff. And so there's a minute missing in the Jeff Epstein, jail prison footage before, so like, who had access? X number of people had access. So all y'all got, why don't you get all the people who had access to that footage, for a minute, right? Pam Bondi, the U.S. attorney, comes and says, I have the list right here and on my desk. And now there is no list. They're saying, oh no, that wasn't a list. That was the file. That was the file. You don't think Pam Bondi knows the difference between list and file? But hey, you know what I mean? She said, I got the list on my desk, and now all of a sudden, and Teddy, why is that? Well, because at some point, somebody probably saw somebody name that, and they may not have seen the name of Donald Trump, but they may have seen the name of John, whatever remember his pseudonym that he would call when he would do his own PR. They were like, let's put that back. Put that back. But let's check this out, man. It's something that's very interesting. I think it's a very interesting take. when you talk about Diddy and and what he dealing with.
It just so happens, and this is another thing I have to think has something to do with it. The Abercrombie and Finch case came out, and the Weinstein case was coming out. Okay, so here's the thing. They raid his house. 2 weeks before the raid, they released a videotape the same time they're prosecuting the Abercrombie and Finch guys case. It just so happens, and this is another.
America didn't demonize color. Black culture did. So this comparison is inaccurate because while Hugh Hefner did do his thing, people minded their business, black people included. Black people have this thing where when somebody brings up something about white people, black people will say, that ain't our business. We ain't worried about white people, we worried about black people. So although everybody knew what was going on with Hugh Hefner, everybody knew Hugh Hefner was 932 years old with 17, 18, 19-year-old girls in the Playboy Mansion. It was known information. Nothing was done about it because people minded their business. Black culture, whatever they say he did, he did. And then we say we just hold ours accountable, but we don't hold them accountable. We judge, we gossip, we cancel. Accountability comes from due process. And I'm never mad at holding somebody accountable for what they've actually done. But in black culture, white America throws out the bait. They don't do the demonizing. They throw out the bait for us to do it. They throw the bait. Black culture bites the bait, bite the line, bite the rod, the tackle box, and the fisherman. Black culture bite the whole rod that they throw out. The whole bait with headlines. When you see white celebrities get in trouble, yeah, it gets reported on. Yeah, people talk about it, but every day you do not see back to back to back to back to back to back to back headlines up and down the timeline. Everybody talking. That doesn't happen when white celebrities get in trouble. Why? Because they have figured out that even though they get in trouble, it's not going to be the same response as black culture. So when a black celebrity is in trouble that people don't like or people don't care about what happens to them, all you got to do is put it in a headline, and black culture got it from there. When you see white,
what they're going to start doing is persecuting the accuser. I'm just saying, there's got to be some consequence. You couldn't just be able to just charge somebody with an allegation and then just go scot-free. Oh, never mind, drop the charges, I'll go back to my life. And I was anonymous. Fuck you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You can cut a profit off of that.
No, my brother did.
It was cursed, man. So, man. So some interesting perspectives. Interesting perspectives as far as, when we do it, when they do it. Wrong is wrong, and there'll be some accountability.
I'm gonna tell you, all of this goes back to a fateful day. It's always remember this day when Steve Stout put something on the court. You can't.
Oh yeah, when Nas went with that.
You know what I'm saying? Puff wasn't there. Nas didn't care. Puff wasn't there. That's what the problem. He said, yeah, no, but think about what's going on right now. He's being sacrificed. You can hate me now, but I won't stop now. And when he did it, he came over there, doused him with, and then he makes money off of Puff for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing right there was the whole setup for what you're seeing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the element of hip hop. Even when you see LeBron James, all these different things in the business are all perspective off of what these people involved with this control element, you know what I'm saying, have been doing and perpetuating, you know what I'm saying? And they allow the people to come back that hasn't never really did anything, never really said. Because remember, Buster been gone for a while. And now Buster's back on the scene. You see the people now who are back on the scene who've been faded for a while, for a long time.
Yeah, but I think Buster's back for music. Even though he's doing music, I think he's back culturally speaking for whatever reason. So
That's what I'm saying. He's able to now come back and speak. They shut him up. Before what he was talking about, he was talking black this, black that, da da da. So they shut him up. Now they said, we're gonna come back, you gotta come back and don't say that, don't. They're gonna give you the narratives. Everything's a narrative now. You know what I'm saying? So if you can come back and agree to these situations, they're gonna give you that light. You know? But everything with these different people, there's always checks and balances. And when you see like how they didn't bring Jay's name up, they wouldn't bring Jay up in none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Jay show you he going quick. He's fighting back. He's not just gonna let it slide. He fighting back. He filing. He filing suits, and we have to go for it.
It's like you got to be on the right side. That's what I mean. You got to make sure you on the right side, or you even to where you got leverage where nobody can drop. Because Buff got, he just got ahead of himself.
Well, here goes some leverage, man. So the homeboy of the Alexander brothers, they dropped the charges on him, basically saying like, hey, we can't prove the case because he hit him with an alibi. The allegation is that he was holding them down, but the other was doing whatever they was doing. Now the other, the brother's still facing state and federal charges, but Buddy is like, peace, and we won't hear from him. He gonna go and do his thing and just blend into the tapestry of life.
Nothing to see here.
And I think that goes in, I think that factors into, when you talk about black versus white. It's just that so few of us make it, so to speak. So few of us make it. You have so many eyes on those few. There are more white people who make it, or people aren't starving, man. When you just think about, folks being able to have life insurance for hundreds of years, having houses that's passed down. Houses is the number one form of generational wealth. Generational wealth, bro. So you talk about folks that, I had a guy, man, rest in peace. Straight crackhead. But you know what? His parents left him over $1 million house and left him bread in, and they set it up where he couldn't smoke it up. He couldn't, like, all the stuff that he was doing, bro, like on the straight up street or whatever, where when I started helping him and I finally got him into a rehab out of state and whatnot, bro, I got confronted. I remember getting confronted by one of his dealers, because he had several dealers, but one of his dealers, like at the gas station, like 1:32 in the morning. But he was like trying to get me to come over to his whip. And I was like, bro, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not coming, you can talk to me from right there. And he was like, where's old boy? I said, man, boy, he gone. He getting some help. Because Buddy was out there, he was feeding, he was feeding the street. And then there was fronting him. I had to come in there. One lady like tried to take his house. Like she's like, putting him up. It's like none of that's free. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I got it, kind of like in the Mac. To me, 1 second, my baby gonna be here in a second, boy. Got more money than any of y'all have ever seen. I wish somebody show you how to throw a shab. Right? But it's like, don't worry about it. I get my lawyer. My lawyer gonna go and he gonna get me the money and he gonna come in there, man. And keeping it moving. And then the next thing you know, the lady found out and was trying to, get the crib, and somebody like notified me to come in and stop the sale and stuff like that. But I was just giving you that as an example of how, like, even crackheads, like, we got so many people with college degrees that's living check to check, that's renting. Living check to check and that's renting. And they got hundreds of thousands of dollars of loans to try to pay back. You know what I'm saying? And then you got, dudes that straight up, blue collar, got an AC plumber on the side of their van or on their truck or whatever. And you follow them late at night, like, they got a pool in the back, landscaping, whatever. It's like, hey, I just need something to do. I just need something to do to bring in an income. But the income that I'm bringing in is not what's going for me to survive, because my house is paid for. And if something happens, I can take money out of the house when I got to do something big. Many of us, when we got to do something big, man, we got to sit there and figure out, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I got to go rob somebody? Do I got to hit a lick? Do I got to, do I get on this lottery real hard? Do I, you know what I'm saying? All of the above? Do I, you know what I'm saying? Who I got to hit? Who keep my ear to the ground? Who got something coming in? And we can make that move and do those things, bro. Like, the criminality portion comes out of survival.
When I go on the road with artists, like I go, like when I was at Dexter, I went with road money. I had $40 for gas. I had an artist that was with me, and I called him through. I said, "Hey man, I'm coming up. I got to pay for my hotel room." He said, "Where you at?" Meet me over here. He met me over here. So much room. He gave me $500. He gave me $300 for my room, $200 for my pocket. Then I went over to this spot. This dude gave me this. This dude gave me that. The dude that was with me was like, "Dang, how I gotta make money? How I'm gonna make some money?" I said, "I don't know. How do you make money? Well, you're probably gonna make money selling drugs. Me, I got multiple streams of income because based off of what I do in life, But you find most of these, even kids, men, grown men, 40 years old, they have no skills. They have no means of making money, practical sense. And it doesn't.
Right. They don't want to go learn. Used to be, you can't even go to McDonald's no more. McDonald's used to be that, man, if I can't go nowhere, I'm going to hit McDonald's. No, you not. Not no more. Not no more. McDonald's, you like, as a felon, you can ride to McDonald's. Think. Like,
there used to be so many work today, get paid today all around. You don't see them no more.
But just be resourceful. Like sometimes I go, the old ladies in my neighborhood, I say, "Is anybody gonna cut your grass?" Well, the guy was supposed to come here. I do it today for $40 for real. Yeah, I go cut grass in my neighborhood, just going out, being resourceful. I've been doing that as a kid. You know what I mean? So it's like,
folks run to the blood bank now.
I went to the sperm bank.
That's what I'm saying. Folks run to the blood bank, the sperm bank.
You got some little Teddy T's around here.
You get them by the number. They tell you got 47. You got 75 for a pick. I spent a whole summer at sperm breaks. Plenty in the however you got to get it, you got to get it. But I'm just saying, it's really baffles me. Literally, like, I see people, like, I ain't graduated from high school. I don't have an educational setup, but I learned. And I see kids that end up in the college and they don't have no basic. Because
you're not taught to, you know what I mean? You're not taught to get bread in college. You're not taught. That's not what you're taught at all. You're not taught to be a lawyer in law school. What you find out is it's a weeding out process. That's all it is. It's a weeding out process. And and one of the reasons that I would consider our people to be some of the best trial lawyers is that all the stuff in school and all that or whatever is, you have to understand that and you have to learn that. But when I figured out all it is just a different language. Just like if you know Spanish, if you know Latin, if you know French, if you know the law, it's just a different language, right? And you start figuring out that a lot of the stuff is just code. It's just code, and it's meant to be confusing.
Big words.
Use big words to come in there. Use like res ipsa loquitur. Like, oh man, let me stay away from that. Res ipsa loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. Meaning, like, if you Like we in this studio right now, and then we walk out, and it was sunny when we came in. We walk out and we see a puddle. You know, we like res ipsa loquitur, like, you know, it most likely rained. You know what I mean? The thing speaks for itself. And it's stuff like you do that on purpose because you don't want people to be able to do it themselves. You want everything that they got to come to you, to somebody to be the representative. But I tell her there's not a single thing that a person cannot do for themselves in the law if you go in and read it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from the most complicated tax, you know what I mean? Now, you know, a 1,000-page tax code, you know what I mean? It's a lot in there, and especially if you haven't gotten it, it's very, very difficult. And I'm not trying to make it where, you know, it's not. But if you understand the basic principles that, you know, it's just folks coming together and just, you know, the tax code has to speak for everything that happens, you know, because it starts with that definition of what is income, you know, and it's from any source derived.
You know,
So it could be anything.
That's all trick questions because sometimes if you put less than what you get, they're not going to check they're not checking what you're writing. Nobody's going back and say, oh, he didn't make this.
No, that's not what it is. First of all, it is what has been filed.
Right. So
whoever you're doing business with, you know, you dealing with a large company and you doing business with them, and then, you know, you get that 1099, you know, come in the mail. If you get that 1099 that come in the mail, you best believe when you go and file your taxes, whatever was represented in that 1099, it better find its way in what you claiming, and that's the only advice that I get anybody, which is, you know, the CPA gave me that long time ago when I was like, hey, you know what, I can't file my taxes. I need somebody to come in and file my taxes. And what he said is, before we come in here and do it, what I need you to do is I need you to go to Plantation, to the IRS building, and get all the stuff that is filed under your Social Security number. So we're going to start with that to make sure these people don't come for you, because you at least got to get what's on that paper. You at least got to get that, right? And then folks who like don't even think about filing taxes and whatnot, the people not thinking about you when it comes to, you know, the problems of this country. You are a problem to the folks that's, you know, that's really eating, you know, because you're talking about, okay, we hitting up Medicaid, we hitting up SNAP, we hitting up all this stuff right here. There's a work requirement, all the stuff that people talking about, all the stuff that Step talking about. He like, I don't want able-bodied people getting nothing, right? So all that stuff they're talking about, you know, it's not because the United States has fundamentally changed. What it is you have to be able to give these tax cuts to the job creators, to the employers. So
give them some type of incentive.
An incentive. You got to give them an incentive. Bro, you know, the last thing you want to do is, you know, you want to hire somebody. It's like, all right, cool. But when you go in there, and I've been in this, you know, in practice, I've had my own company now 23 years. 23 years, you know, I range between 2 and 5 employees. And so every time you come to the point where you want to bring somebody else, you know, in, you know, it's not like, boom. It's like you got to factor in how much money do I have to set aside to have this person for 3 months or 6 months. If they work out, you know, typically if they work out in 3 months, then you're going to ride with them for a while. So always when I bring in a new employee, it's like, you know, it's 90-day probation. You know, you start off making this, and then, you know, we still riding after 90 days, then you're going to make this, because you gotta see what it is, because then you got people that come in and they great at the interview and they start off strong, then all of a sudden, you know what I mean, like the real them start coming out, you know, and so you be like, you know, and then when you come, you know, first time I got hit with an unemployment claim, bruh, you know how mad I was? I was feeling like your boy Step. I was feeling like, I was feeling like you messed up, bro. I was feeling like you messed up. You know, bro, and I'm telling you, I fought it all the way. I fought it all the way. They quit. They quit. They quit. They quit. They ain't entitled to, they not entitled to no unemployment. And no unemployment. You know, because that's stuff you gotta pay. People you only, bruh, and that's the thing. Another thing that I do with our people. With our people is like, look, man, I know it looks awesome when you getting cash. Like you making, you know what I'm saying, you want everybody want to be a promoter. You know, you making cash and folks is coming and you got 1,000 people coming in, you know, because I did it, you know. I can get 1,000 people in here paying $10. That's 10,000. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta pay the DJ $500. I gotta pay the DJ $500. You know what I'm saying? $500 for the flyers. You know what I mean? I gotta, you know what I'm saying, bring in a couple of chicks. You know what I mean? That's gonna bring in some of the ballers. We're gonna get some of the buyers. I get some of the bar. You know what I mean? I clear this, right? You can only do that for so long, and then when you wanna expand and you wanna take it to the next level, how are you going to show that to any kind of finance company? How you going to come in like, it's like, man, everybody know, boy, I'm making 10 bands a week at the spot. I'm making 10 bands a week at the spot. 40,000 a month. When you roll up in the Chase Bank, and what you got? But a couple flyers and showing them some video and pictures of the folks in there having a good time. And they're going to be like, bank statements, please. We're going to need the last, 6 months of the bank statement so we see what's going in, what's coming out, whatever. Because how do you expect people to invest in you? How do you expect people to come in and put some money down when all you got to do is just say, oh, I ain't doing that no more? And now now the people coming to try to find you to get your bread, and you sitting outside your mama house, with a grill, with a grill of 40 and a blunt, and knowing that, I done use that on people all the time when they come in there and tell me, I'm about to sue you. I said, well, I ain't give you nothing. I said, because if I ever have to pay you, I'm going to my mama house and I'm gonna be sitting in the crib. You want to know where to find me? I'm grilling every day. I'm gonna have a 40 and I'm gonna have me a big blunt every day. When you come over there, you want to find me, bro, because I done worked on this plantation now, 30 years, and I'm ready. I'm ready to be a home. I'm ready to be what y'all thought we was gonna be. That's what I'm ready to be. I'm ready to be what y'all thought we was supposed to be. Thugged out. Thugged out with a beer belly, a 40, a blunt, and some leg quarters. That's my retirement. That's my retirement plan. That's my, hey, brother, I promise you, that's my retirement plan. I promise you, man. That's my retirement plan. I can't do it. I can't do it.